All right, everyone, welcome back to YouTube. I been talking a lot about excuses, right? So, like, excuses are what everybody inherently has, man and woman. I use this for guys because I think guys are less inclined to confront their excuses because they believe they're valid. Now, I've seen this firsthand, so this is why I think it's a big problem when it comes to men. And I want to give you guys a tool that can help you kind of prevent the excuses from taking control of your life. So, a lot of guys don't want to acknowledge the excuses that they make up. And typically, the excuses they make up are well, it's a combination of things, but one of the biggest excuses I think men use, or biggest reasons men use excuses, are because they're scared to put themselves in opportunities that are uncomfortable to them. And when we do that, we deteriorate the experience we have in life because we're not willing to explore and experiment at certain points in our lives, specifically when we become like at a certain age or we become a certain level of expert, right? Considered a certain level of expert. Men stop really putting themselves in that position to explore and experience. And in that, excuses come up, whatever the excuse is. Now, plenty of them you're going to believe are valid excuses. 100%. You're going to be like, there's no way somebody could refute that. There's nothing that somebody could say that's not that it's this is an invalid excuse, whatever. You're going to make up whatever you want. 100%. I will tell you that what you are believing is a good excuse is a fucking excuse. And anything could be changed. So don't tell me that there's no excuse out there that is immovable or unchangeable. Now, your excuse is dictating, or your excuses are dictating the way you experience life. Now, one of the reasons why this becomes a pivotal piece is because of the fact that, let's paint a picture. Somebody offers you the ability to go to take a trip with them, right? Like maybe it's a guy's trip. And then you say, yeah, I'll go. You're a little hesitant, or maybe you guys have all been drinking when you came up with it. So you say, yeah, I'll go. And then all of a sudden it gets time to pull the trigger. So whatever that means, buy your plane ticket. It gets to being a couple weeks out and you guys are supposed to meet up somewhere. Or it's to put money on a piece that you can integrate into your business that you feel would be strong, but you're hesitant because you don't have that cash flow yet. Whatever it is, like just fill in the blank on any of those, and or in that position of what those would be. And then you ask that guy, well, okay, if you are going to sit and ponder about it, you're going to make up the excuse in which you're going to talk yourself out of wanting to go, unless you sit there and just simply commit to the action and don't put an outcome on the experience. Now, this is important for a lot of different things in our lives, especially, and I have found this recently more so in when it becomes to being an entrepreneur, because there is the availability to scale and run businesses while you're also taking on certain expenses that you necessarily may not feel that you're ready for. So you'll talk yourself out of it. And the way you would have gotten ahead to be ready for it actually would have been with that product or that piece you would have implemented in your business. And you could have had the amount within a couple months that would have compensated for what you spent and then created more of a monetary benefit financially. Instead, you waited 6 months or a year and you got to the same place of buying something that you still didn't feel you were ready for or had the income for. And then you now had to figure that out. And then hopefully you turn that into a profit, but it took you a year longer. Or you wanted to go on that guy's trip, but you then talked yourself out of it for whatever valid excuse you created in your life. And then all of a sudden you either spent money that you couldn't get back, or you lost an experience to connect with other men who could have been a deeper part of your tribe. And then all of a sudden you have FOMO because you see pictures or these guys are chatting about it, or the next time you guys hang out, you have to hear about this, or you see how tight their bond is and you're not with that bond because you didn't go out and experience it. Now, the tool I want to give you guys, because there's the first piece of this. And I've talked about this before, so I don't want to go in depth and just reiterate another episode of this. But it's being aware of the excuses and challenging them, right? Okay, we all know this. Be aware of it. That's a fucking excuse. Do I really want to go? Do I really want to do this? Do I really believe this is going to make a difference in my business? If so, if the answer is yes, you should be doing it, right? Then challenge the excuse, and then don't allow the excuse to take over, creating a lot of fear and anxiety within you. Allow yourself to be unattached to the end and then say, I'm going to go experience it. Now, that's the one piece. But the second tool that I want to give you guys, and this is one that's been very important for me, is to just take action. Sounds fucking simple. Most y'all motherfuckers won't do it. Just take action. That means that, for instance, I'm going to give you guys a real time example here, is that, my wife and I are creating a couple of product companies, and I'm taking lead on the creation of these companies. Now, I know about zero on creating some of these product companies, and I don't know where to start. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know all the little pieces in between. I don't know the product development. I don't know those things. And I could go and research till I'm blue in the face, and I still won't know them because I've never done them, right? So what did I do? Well, in these two scenarios, because it's two different products that we're creating, one, I reached out to a company who specifically does the work in which we're trying to do. They don't do the work in what we're trying to do. They will do the back end creation of what we're trying to do, right? And then they'll get us to the point of getting this out to the market. Now, there's a few different pieces in there that I have no clue about, that I have to figure out how to fill in the gap, but I have the people now that I can talk to. And what did I do? I just simply took action. I found them, I researched them, I called them, we got on a business call, we talked about what we're trying to do, they sent samples, we tested those samples, we changed some of the product, then we sent that back to them, and now we're getting another product. I have no experience in this, guys, so I'm telling you this from a way of saying I took action because it was terrifying to me. Like, I'm at 36 years old, I'm having to act like a fucking 2-year-old trying to learn this business and learn something that's brand new to my brain, right? Very challenging, number one, very scary because money is going to be involved. And number three, I'm going to still have to figure out logistically how this all makes sense to get out to the market. But the first step, you cannot look at the big picture, just take fucking action is what I did. So a real-time example there, another real-time example. The second company is a different product that I'm creating, and within that, it has to have some R&D on the back of it. And the R&D has to be how this is going to be constructed, in which it's going to get out to the market in a way that it's still consumable, right? And then it has a shelf life, and that it actually tastes good, and it does what I want it to do, and all of these things. I have zero clue on how that business stands up from R&D to production to sales to shipping to everything else. I don't know, right? So what did I do? I found a company that starts the first process, the R&D. I just need to know what the hell what my product even looks like. And that's the first thing I can focus on. The one piece is I need to know what this tastes like, what I'm looking at, and is it even possible, right? So I go and find an R&D company that can do this, and I reach out to them. We got on a call today, and they laid out a whole slew of this overarching process that is absolutely daunting to me, right? Again, terrifying, money's going to be involved, yada, yada. And I'm sitting there like, holy shit, I'm a 2-year-old trying to learn something again. I say all of this to you guys because I could have made an excuse to not follow it. I can still make that excuse, but instead I'm just choosing to take action. And the action was to reach out to the company, start the process. Okay, I got the ball rolling. Now I got, this one company, I have the product that we've designed, the blends and everything else. I have that coming back to me to see if those even taste good and do what we want them to do. And then the other company, I'm setting up with another call for the R&D after we sign an NDA so we can go into the product and figure out, okay, is this realistic? And then they can start to come up with a blend and sourcing and everything else. This is the process that it is, but it wouldn't happen if I just made excuses and took time to step away from all these things. It's scary. You're going to need to take action. You're going to need to commit, and you just need to put a blinder on saying, I'm not looking at the end state 6 months to a year from now. I'm looking at what I can do right now to figure out the process so I can continue to move forward. And at the end of the day, all of those steps forward are going to equal the end of a path. And at the end of that path, I am going to have what I desired, and I'm going to be able to look back and say, wow, I learned a lot of shit. But my life experience is going to be absolutely zero if I choose to allow my excuses to overrun me with fear and anxiety and stress. If I said, oh my God, the big picture is this, and there's all these little pieces involved, and all these little pieces are going to take me talking to somebody else, and it's going to take more money and all this stuff. If I did that, I'd easily talk myself out of both these business ventures. Wouldn't even step foot. But that's not the case. The case is that if we want to get ahead and beat these excuses out of the gate, it's to take action and confirm and be decisive in that action. Say that you're not going to move from it. It is going to be what you're following through with. And until there is a roadblock that is so heavy that you don't think you can get it past, that you're going to need even more strength to get it past, right? Until that comes up, everything becomes just one step in front of the other. And then it becomes, how do I continue that to build all of this up to walking the path? If you can do that, then you're going to experience life at a much greater value, and you're going to say no to less things and yes to more. You're going to experience more and have a life that you're going to look back on and be like, wow, yeah, that, I did hit a huge roadblock there. And honestly, it was not set for my life to be able to get past that roadblock at the time. But you know what? This one over here I did, and I totally 100% got to pass that roadblock as I came up to it. But every step just led me to having the strength to get it past that roadblock. So that one I actually did, and that was beautiful. But I even learned something from this one over here. It actually helped me for this path that I took over here. Like, those are the conversations you get to have with yourself and with other people. So stop giving yourself these fucking cop-outs and excuses, guys. Like, with men, I'm so over it. You all just have so many fucking excuses. It's like, God damn, we should get together and write an excuse book and then just give it to the women and say, just call us on our shit whenever one of these comes up. Or give it to our brothers. Hey, call us on our shit whenever these come up. Because, bro, like, we make so many excuses. It's absolutely mind-numbing. But we need to take ownership. And then by taking ownership, we can take more action. Or by taking action, we can take ownership. It's vice versa. But if you have trouble with the conversation internally, one of the hacks I have found is to take action and put yourself in the uncomfortable position like that. Like, just take action and put yourself there so that you have no other choice but to show up and be part of it, and then see where it goes from that point, right? Give yourself that opportunity. Give your vision that opportunity. Give your creativity that opportunity. Give your life that opportunity. That is where the power's at. All right, fellas. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see y'all next week on YouTube.